Let's move! Get her inside now! Keep that oxygen steady! Faster! We're losing time! Your vitals are dropping. Nurse!
I'm here, doctor.
Get the crash cart ready. Stay with me.
The sterile white ceiling blurred above her eyes. Sarah Mitchell could not feel her legs. She could not feel anything below her waist, and somewhere in the chaos of beeping machines and hushed urgent voices, she heard the words that shattered her world into 1,000 irreparable pieces. "We did everything we could for your husband, Mrs. Mitchell. I'm so sorry. He did not make it." The doctor's voice cracked with the weight of delivering death, but Sarah's scream never came. Her voice had died somewhere on that rain-slicked highway 3 hours ago when the truck ran the red light. When metal crushed metal. When her entire future exploded into darkness. Her wedding dress hung in her apartment closet, pristine and untouched. The ceremony was supposed to happen in 6 days. 6 days. The invitations had been sent. The flowers had been ordered. Marcus had kissed her that morning and promised her forever. He promised her forever, and now he was gone. "Mrs. Mitchell, we need to discuss your injuries." The doctor's hand rested gently on the bed rail, his eyes carrying the exhaustion of someone who had seen too much tragedy. "The impact caused severe spinal trauma. We performed emergency surgery, but the damage to your lumbar vertebrae was extensive. You have lost mobility in your lower extremities." Sarah stared at him. The words floated around her like ghosts, refusing to settle into meaning. "You are saying I cannot walk." Her voice came out flat, emotionless, a stranger's voice. "Not right now. With extensive physical therapy and time we will evaluate, but I need you to understand that the likelihood of regaining full function is extremely low." "I am sorry. I am so very sorry." The room tilted. Sarah closed her eyes and saw Marcus smiling at her across the dinner table just last night, his hand reaching for hers, his lips forming the words, "I cannot wait to marry you, Sarah. I cannot wait to spend every single day of my life making you happy." Every single day. They had planned for 50 years. 60 if they were lucky. They had talked about children, about growing old together, about building a life that mattered. And in one moment, one fraction of a second, a stranger's mistake had stolen it all. The nurse adjusted something on the intravenous line. Sarah did not look at her. She stared at her hands instead, at the engagement ring Marcus had spent 3 months saving for, at the small cut on her thumb from when they were cooking together 2 nights ago. Such a small cut. Such a meaningless little injury compared to this. "Is there someone we can call for you?" the doctor asked gently. Sarah thought of her mother who had passed away 4 years ago. Her father gone even longer. Marcus had been her family. Marcus had been her everything. And now there was only her sister, Rebecca, who lived across the country and had not spoken to Sarah in 2 years. Not since the argument. Not since Rebecca had called Marcus a mistake and Sarah had chosen him over her own blood. "No," Sarah whispered. "There is no one." But that was not entirely true. As the morphine pulled her under, as consciousness began to slip away, Sarah remembered Rebecca's last words to her. "You're going to regret choosing him over me. You are going to need me someday and I will not be there." How right she had been. How terribly, painfully right. 3 weeks passed in a haze of rehabilitation attempts and funeral arrangements Sarah could not attend. They brought the wheelchair to her hospital room on a Tuesday morning. The physical therapist, a woman named Gloria with kind eyes and strong hands, helped Sarah transfer from the bed. "This is temporary," Gloria said, though her smile carried doubt. "We are going to work hard, you and me. We are going to fight for every inch of progress." But Sarah was not interested in fighting. Sarah was interested in dying. Every morning she woke up reaching for Marcus, forgetting for one cruel, beautiful second that he was gone, that her legs were useless, that her entire life had been erased. And every morning the truth crashed down on her with fresh violence. The hospital released her on a Thursday. A social worker had arranged for a ground floor apartment, for rails in the bathroom, for a ramp at the entrance. They had arranged everything except a reason for Sarah to care about any of it. She sat in her new living room, staring at boxes she could not unpack, at a life she did not want, at a future that stretched before her like a vast and empty wasteland. Her phone sat on the table beside her, Rebecca's number still saved under Sister. Do not call. Pride was a funny thing. It kept Sarah's finger hovering over the delete button instead of the call button. It whispered that she had made her choice, that she had burned that bridge, that reaching out now would prove Rebecca right about everything. But loneliness was louder than pride. And on her 7th night in the new apartment, as rain hammered against the windows and thunder rolled across the sky, Sarah pressed call. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Hello. Rebecca's voice was cautious, uncertain. Rebecca. Sarah's voice broke on her sister's name. I need help. Silence stretched between them, heavy with 2 years of anger and hurt and stubborn Mitchell family pride. Then Rebecca spoke, and her voice was soft. I know. I heard about the accident. I heard about Marcus. Sarah, I am so sorry. I am flying out tomorrow. Do not argue with me. I am coming. Sarah opened her mouth to protest, to say she could manage alone, to rebuild the walls she had spent 2 years fortifying. But the words would not come. Instead she cried. She cried like she had not allowed herself to cry since the accident, great heaving sobs that shook her entire body, and on the other end of the line Rebecca cried too. I am sorry, Sarah gasped between sobs. I am so sorry for everything I said. You were right. You were right about everything. No. Rebecca's voice was firm through her tears. I was not right. I was cruel. Marcus was not a mistake. You loved him, and that was real and beautiful, and I had no right to judge that. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm so deeply sorry. I should have been there for you. I should have put aside my stupid pride and just been your sister. They talked until Sarah's phone battery died, until the storm outside quieted, until the first light of dawn crept through the curtains. And for the first time since the accident, Sarah felt something other than despair. She felt the faintest whisper of hope. Rebecca arrived with 3 suitcases and a determination that Sarah found both comforting and overwhelming. She moved into the 2nd bedroom without asking, reorganized the kitchen to make everything accessible, and sat beside Sarah through the nightmares that came every single night. You do not have to stay, Sarah said on the 4th morning, watching Rebecca make breakfast. I know I do not have to. Rebecca cracked eggs into a pan. I want to. Besides, my job lets me work remote, and honestly Denver was getting boring. Too many mountains. Not enough sisterly bonding. It was a weak joke, but it made Sarah smile. A small smile, but real. Physical therapy began in earnest. Gloria came to the apartment 3 times a week, pushing Sarah through exercises that felt pointless and painful. Sarah's legs remained stubbornly unresponsive, refusing to cooperate no matter how hard she tried. I do not understand why we are doing this, Sarah said after a particularly frustrating session. Nothing is changing. Nothing is getting better. Gloria sat back on her heels, wiping sweat from her forehead. Healing is not always about walking again, Sarah. Sometimes it is about learning to live with what is. About finding strength you did not know you had. I do not want to be strong, Sarah snapped. I want to walk. I want Marcus back. I want my life back. I know. Gloria's voice was gentle. But none of those things are possible. So we work with what we have. We build something new. After Gloria left, Sarah sat in her wheelchair staring at the wall. Build something new. The words felt absurd. How did you build anything when the foundation had been destroyed? How did you start over when you could not even stand up? Rebecca found her there an hour later. She did not say anything, just sat down on the floor beside the wheelchair and took Sarah's hand. Do you remember when Mom died? Rebecca asked quietly. Sarah nodded. I did not think I would survive it. The grief felt like it was eating me alive from the inside out. And you told me something. Do you remember what you said? Sarah shook her head. You said that grief is love with nowhere to go. You said that all the love I had for Mom did not disappear when she died. It was still there, still real, and I had to find new places to put it. new ways to honor it. Tears slipped down Sarah's cheeks. I remember now. The love you have for Marcus does not disappear because he is gone, Rebecca said softly. It is still there. Still real. You just have to find a new way to carry it. That night, Sarah opened her laptop for the first time since the accident. She stared at the blank document for a long time before she began to type. Marcus believed in second chances. He believed that every ending was really just a beginning in disguise. He believed that love was the only thing that never truly died. The words came slowly at first, then faster. Sarah wrote about meeting Marcus at the coffee shop where he worked, about their first date at the art museum, about the way he laughed at her terrible jokes and held her when she cried and made her believe that happiness was not just possible but inevitable. She wrote for hours, her fingers flying across the keyboard, tears streaming down her face. And when she finally stopped, when exhaustion pulled at her like a physical weight, she realized something profound. Marcus was gone, but the love they had shared was not. It lived in every memory, every word she wrote, every beat of her heart. He lived. In her. 6 months crawled by. Sarah's legs remained paralyzed, but something else began to shift. She started physical therapy with a new goal, not to walk again but to build strength, to reclaim what autonomy she could. She learned to transfer from wheelchair to bed without help. She mastered cooking from a seated position. She discovered adaptive sports and found herself actually laughing during wheelchair basketball practice. Rebecca stayed, their relationship healing slowly, carefully, like a bone that had been broken and was learning to be whole again. They talked about their childhood, about their mother, about all the years they had wasted being angry instead of being sisters. I think Mom would be proud of us, Rebecca said one evening as they sat on the small balcony watching the sunset. I think she would tell us we are both stubborn idiots, Sarah replied. That too. They smiled at each other and Sarah felt something she had not felt in a very long time. Peace. Not happiness, not yet, but peace. The acceptance that life had changed irreversibly and she could either fight that truth or learn to live with it. She chose to live with it. Sarah's writing became more regular. What had started as a way to process grief evolved into something more. She began a blog about life after tragedy, about navigating disability, about finding meaning when everything familiar had been stripped away. People started reading. People started commenting. People started sharing their own stories of loss and survival and unexpected resilience. You are helping people, Rebecca said, scrolling through the comments section. Listen to this one. I lost my husband last year and I thought my life was over. Your words help me see that I can survive this. Thank you. Sarah, you are making a difference. Sarah read the comment and felt something stir in her chest. Purpose. She had found purpose. Rebecca encouraged her to take the next step. There is a support group meeting at the community center next week. For people with spinal cord injuries. You should go. You should share your story in person. Sarah hesitated. The thought of sitting in front of strangers, of being vulnerable in a room full of people who could see her wheelchair, her limitations, her brokenness, terrified her. But Rebecca's gentle insistence and the memory of Marcus's belief in second chances pushed her forward. The community center was bright and welcoming. Sarah wheeled herself into a circle of chairs where 8 other people sat, each carrying their own stories of loss and adaptation. When it was her turn to speak, her voice trembled at first but then steadied. My name is Sarah. 2 years ago I lost my fiancé in a car accident. The same accident left me unable to walk. For a long time I thought my life was over. But I am learning that life does not end when our plans fall apart. It just becomes something different. Something we have to choose every single day. The others nodded, some wiping tears, others smiling with recognition. After the meeting ended, people approached Sarah to thank her, to share their own stories, to exchange numbers and promises to stay in touch. As Sarah wheeled herself toward the exit, a man approached her. He was tall, with kind eyes and a gentle smile that reached all the way to the corners of his face. Excuse me, he said softly. My name is Michael. I was sitting in the back. I heard you speak and I just wanted to tell you how much your words moved me. The way you talked about choosing to live, about finding meaning even in the darkest places, it was beautiful. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Sarah looked up at him, surprised. Thank you. That means a lot. Michael hesitated, as if weighing his next words carefully. I know this might sound strange, and please feel free to say no, but would you be open to getting coffee sometime? I would love to hear more about your journey. I have been through some difficult times myself, and I think there is something I could learn from you. Sarah's first instinct was to decline. She had not been on anything resembling a date since Marcus died. The thought of opening herself up to someone new, of being vulnerable in that way, felt impossible. Besides, who would want to date someone in a wheelchair? Someone broken and incomplete? But there was something in Michael's eyes. Something genuine and warm and completely unthreatening. He was not looking at her with pity. He was looking at her like she mattered. I do not know, Sarah said carefully. I am not really in a place where I am looking for anything like that. I understand, Michael said quickly. And I am not either, honestly. I have had my share of failed relationships. 3 engagements that did not work out, if you can believe that. I'm not looking for romance. I'm just looking for connection. For friendship. For someone who understands what it is like to rebuild after everything falls apart. There was honesty in his voice that Sarah recognized. The honesty of someone who had been broken too. Okay, Sarah said finally. Coffee. Just coffee. Just coffee, Michael agreed, his smile widening. They exchanged numbers, and Sarah wheeled herself to where Rebecca waited in the car. As they drove home, Rebecca glanced at her sister with a knowing smile. So who was that? Just someone who liked what I said at the meeting, Sarah replied, trying to sound casual. And does this someone have a name? Michael. And are you going to see Michael again? Sarah sighed. Maybe. For coffee. Just as friends. Rebecca's smile grew. Good. You deserve friendship. You deserve connection. You deserve to let people in, Sarah. Over the following weeks, Michael became a regular presence in Sarah's life. Their coffee meetings turned into longer conversations. He told her about his own struggles, about the 3 women he had almost married, about the patterns of self-sabotage and fear that had destroyed each relationship before it could truly begin. I think I was always looking for perfection, Michael admitted during one of their talks. I was so focused on finding someone who checked every box that I never actually saw the real person in front of me. And by the time I realized what I had, it was too late. Sarah understood. She shared her own fears, her own doubts about whether she could ever be whole enough for someone to love. Michael listened without judgment, without trying to fix her or reassure her with empty platitudes. You are whole right now, he said simply. You are whole exactly as you are. The wheelchair does not make you less. Your grief does not make you less. If anything, they make you more. More real. More human. More beautiful. Tears filled Sarah's eyes. No one had spoken to her like that since Marcus. No one had seen past her disability to the person underneath. As months passed, Michael began visiting Sarah's apartment. He helped her cook dinner, laughing as they worked side by side in the kitchen. He sat on the floor and played board games with her, refusing to let her win just because she was in a wheelchair. He pushed her wheelchair through the park on sunny afternoons, telling her stories from his childhood and listening to hers. One evening, as they sat on the small porch watching the sunset, Michael turned to Sarah with an expression she could not quite read. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. And I need you to really hear me. Sarah's heart began to race. Okay. I know we said we were just friends. I know you are not looking for romance, and honestly, after everything I have been through, I was not either. But Sarah, somewhere along the way that changed for me. I have fallen in love with you. Not despite your wheelchair or your grief or your scars. I have fallen in love with you because of who you are when you face all of those things with courage. Sarah stared at him, stunned. Michael, I do not know what to say. I am broken. I am still healing. I am not sure I am capable of loving anyone the way they deserve to be loved. You loved Marcus, Michael said gently. That love did not die when he did. It is still there. And maybe if you are willing, there is room for more. Not to replace him. Never to replace him. But to add something new alongside what you carry for him. Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. She thought about Marcus, about the love they had shared, about the future they would never have. And then she thought about Michael, about the way he had shown up for her every single day, about the way he saw her as whole when she still saw herself as broken. I am scared, she whispered. Me too, Michael admitted. But maybe that is okay. Maybe being scared means we are doing something that matters. Sarah reached for his hand. As their fingers intertwined, she felt something shift inside her chest. Not the erasure of her love for Marcus, but the expansion of her heart to hold something new alongside it. "Okay," she said softly. "Let us try. Let us see what happens." Michael smiled, and in that smile Sarah saw hope. He saw possibility. She saw a future she had thought was impossible. Weeks turned into months. Michael's visits became daily. He learned Sarah's routines, her preferences, her needs without her having to ask. He made her laugh until her sides hurt. He held her through the nightmares that still came sometimes. He never once made her feel like a burden or an obligation. Rebecca watched the relationship grow with a mixture of joy and protectiveness. One evening, after Michael had left, she sat down beside Sarah. "He really loves you," Rebecca said softly. "I know," Sarah replied. "And that terrifies me." "Why?" Sarah was quiet for a long moment. "Because what if something happens to him too? What if I let myself love him completely and then I lose him like I lost Marcus? I do not think I could survive that again." Rebecca took her sister's hand. "Sarah, you cannot protect yourself from loss by refusing to love. That is not living. That is just existing in fear. Marcus would not want that for you. He would want you to love fully, to live fully, even if it means risking your heart again." Sarah knew Rebecca was right. And deep down she knew she had already fallen in love with Michael. She had been fighting it, resisting it, terrified of what it meant. But the truth was undeniable. One evening, Michael arrived at Sarah's apartment with groceries for dinner. They moved through the kitchen together, a rhythm they had perfected over time. Sarah chopped vegetables while Michael seasoned the chicken. Music played softly in the background. As Sarah reached for a pot, something strange happened. A tingling sensation shot through her left leg. She gasped. "What is wrong?" Michael asked immediately, concern flooding his face. "I do not know. I just felt something. In my leg." Michael knelt beside her wheelchair. "What kind of something?" "Pain. Numbness." "No. The opposite of numbness. I felt it. I actually felt it." They stared at each other, neither daring to hope too much. Over the following days the sensation returned. Stronger each time. Gloria, the physical therapist, examined Sarah with cautious optimism. "Sometimes nerve regeneration can happen years after an injury," Gloria explained. "It is rare but not impossible. We need to be careful not to get our hopes up, but we should also be diligent with therapy. We are going to work harder than we have ever worked before." Sarah threw herself into physical therapy with renewed determination. Michael was there for every session, cheering her on, catching her when she stumbled, believing in her even when she doubted herself. Slowly, painstakingly, sensation returned. First her toes, then her ankles, then her calves. Each new development felt like a miracle. Gloria designed exercises specifically to strengthen the muscles that had atrophied over the years. Sarah pushed through the pain, through the exhaustion, through every moment when her body screamed at her to give up. "You are doing it," Michael whispered to her after one particularly grueling session. "Sarah, you are actually doing it." But Sarah refused to celebrate prematurely. She had been disappointed too many times before. She had hoped too much and been crushed too often. This time she would wait. She would work. She would see what was actually possible before letting herself believe in miracles. And then one ordinary Tuesday evening it happened. Michael knocked on the door, arriving for their usual dinner together. Sarah heard his voice calling out, "It is me," as he let himself in with the key she had given him. Something inside Sarah surged. A feeling so powerful and overwhelming that it bypassed all rational thought. She wanted to run to him. She wanted to throw her arms around him. She wanted to close the distance between them, not on wheels but on her own 2 feet. And before she could think about it, before she could remember all the reasons why she should not try, Sarah stood up. Her legs shook. Her muscles screamed in protest. But they held. One step. Then another. Then another. "Michael," she called out, her voice breaking with emotion. He appeared in the doorway and his face went completely white. "Sarah, what are you doing? You need to sit down. You are going to hurt yourself." But Sarah kept walking. Tears streamed down her face as she moved toward him. Each step a miracle. each movement a reclaiming of everything she thought she had lost forever. She made it 5 steps before her legs gave out. Michael lunged forward, catching her before she hit the ground. He held her as she sobbed, his own tears falling into her hair. "You walked," he whispered, his voice filled with awe and wonder. "Sir, you walked. You actually walked." "I know," she gasped between sobs. "I know. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it." They sat on the floor together, holding each other, laughing and crying simultaneously. Rebecca, who had been in her room, came running out and stopped dead in her tracks. "What happened? Why are you both on the floor? Why are you crying?" "She walked," Michael said, looking up at Rebecca with a grin so wide it seemed to split his face in two. Sarah walked. Rebecca's hands flew to her mouth. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she sank to her knees beside them, and the 3 of them held each other, a tangle of joy and disbelief and overwhelming gratitude. The recovery was gradual. Sarah could not walk for long periods at first. She still needed the wheelchair for distances and on days when her legs were too weak. But with Michael's unwavering support, with Gloria's expertise and encouragement, and with her own stubborn determination, Sarah's strength grew day by day. Michael proposed on a spring evening 6 months later. They were sitting in Sarah's favorite spot in the park, the place where he had pushed her wheelchair countless times during their early friendship. But this time Sarah had walked there, on her own 2 feet. Slowly, with Michael beside her ready to catch her if she fell, but under her own power. "Sarah Mitchell," Michael said, dropping to one knee on the grass. "You are the strongest, bravest, most beautiful person I have ever known. You taught me what real love looks like. Not perfect love, not easy love, but true love. The kind that shows up every day. The kind that chooses to see possibility even in the darkest moments. The kind that believes in miracles even when miracles seem impossible. Will you marry me?" Sarah looked down at him, this man who had seen her at her most broken and loved her anyway. This man who had never treated her disability as something to fix or pity, but simply as one part of who she was. This man who had believed in her when she could not believe in herself. "Yes," she said, her voice clear and certain. "Yes, I will marry you." Michael slipped the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into his arms. They kissed as the sun set behind them, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink and purple. The wedding was small and perfect. Rebecca stood as Sarah's maid of honor, her eyes shining with pride and joy. Gloria attended, wiping tears throughout the entire ceremony. Sarah wore a dress that Marcus would have loved, simple and elegant, and she carried white roses in his memory. As Sarah walked down the aisle toward Michael, every step feeling like a victory, she thought about everything that had brought her to this moment. The accident, the loss, fame, the long hard climb back to life, the unexpected friendship that became love, the miracle of healing that she had stopped believing was possible. She thought about Marcus and she sent him a silent thank you. Thank you for teaching her how to love. Thank you for believing in second chances. Thank you for the time they had together, however brief. Thank you for preparing her heart to recognize real love when it found her again. And then she reached Michael and he took her hands in his and the minister began to speak. Sarah Mitchell had been ready for marriage once before. And then tragedy had happened. Everything she had planned for, everything she had dreamed of, had been ripped away in one terrible moment. But here she was, standing on her own 2 feet, choosing love again, choosing life again, choosing happiness not because the pain was gone, but because she had learned to carry both grief and joy at the same time. The minister pronounced them husband and wife. Michael kissed her as their friends and family cheered. And in that moment, Sarah knew with absolute certainty that she was exactly where she was meant to be. She had survived the unsurvivable. She had healed from wounds that should have destroyed her. She had found love again in the most unexpected way. She had walked again when everyone said it was impossible. And this time with Michael by her side, with Rebecca supporting her, with a future full of promise stretching before her, she was never letting go. Sarah Mitchell had lost everything. And then, piece by piece, moment by moment, choice by choice, she had built a new life. Not the life she had planned. Not the life she had wanted. But a life that was hers. A life that was good. A life that was filled with love and purpose and hope. Against all odds, impossibly, miraculously, she was happy. And she was home. 3 years after the wedding, on a quiet Sunday morning, Sarah stood on the front porch of their home. The sun was just beginning to climb above the horizon, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and gold. The air smelled of fresh cut grass and the jasmine that climbed along the porch railing. Michael came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist and resting his chin on her shoulder. They stood there in comfortable silence, watching the scene that unfolded before them in their front yard. 2 children, a boy and a girl, laughter ringing out like music. 7-year-old Emma, with her mother's dark hair and her father's kind eyes, was chasing 4-year-old Daniel around the oak tree. Daniel squealed with delight, his small legs pumping as fast as they could carry him. His laughter was pure and uninhibited, the kind of joy that only children possess. Life has a way of breaking us in places we never expected. It has a way of taking our carefully made plans and shattering them into a million pieces. And in those moments when everything we counted on is gone, when the future we imagined disappears, it feels like the end. Feels like there is no way forward. But here is the truth that Sarah's story teaches us. Endings are not always final. Broken does not mean destroyed. And the darkest chapter of your life does not have to be the last chapter. You are stronger than you know. You are more resilient than you believe. And even when you cannot see the path forward, even when hope feels impossible, there is still grace waiting for you. There is still love preparing to find you. There is still a future being written, one day at a time, one small step at a time. Do not give up. Not today. Not ever. Let us pray. Father, we come to you with hearts that have been broken, with dreams that have been shattered, with pain that feels too heavy to carry. But we also come with faith that you are still working, that you are still healing, that you are still writing stories of redemption even when we cannot see them yet. Give us strength for today. Give us hope for tomorrow. Surround us with people who will hold us when we fall. Open our eyes to see the miracles happening all around us. And remind us that with you nothing is impossible. No wound is too deep. No loss is too great. No future is beyond repair. We trust you. We believe in you. And we surrender our broken pieces into your capable hands. In your precious name we pray. Amen.